forget what you think you know about consciousness, because beyond the conscious and subconscious levels of your mind is a third level that reaches much further, where reality itself is formed before it ever reaches your conscious awareness. And understanding the three minds model with the quantum level of consciousness can unlock possibilities that are inaccessible when working with only the conscious and subconscious mind. In this video, I dive deep into the three levels of consciousness, exploring their unique components and interdependence. So by the end of this video, you'll not only understand how they work, but also discover how to align and harmonize all three levels for optimal coherence, instead of targeting just one or allowing conflicting default programs hinder your progress, ultimately giving you the ability to control your experience of reality like never before. From a professional perspective, most mainstream and clinical approaches are built on an incomplete model of how the mind actually works. My extensive research in cognitive, developmental, industrial, and organizational behavior, along with crisis intervention, provided me with enough awareness to continue looking for how the mind works interdependently with all aspects of our tangible and non-tangible being. Which brings us to the information I'm sharing today. Let's start at the beginning, shall we? By relying on transformative approaches rooted in the traditional two-mind model, consisting of conscious and subconscious, we uncover three fundamental limitations that hinder true, lasting change. Firstly, it establishes an artificial divide between your mind and reality, treating thoughts as internal events that influence but are separate from external reality. This separation fails to acknowledge the quantum interconnectedness of consciousness, where the observer and observed are intrinsically entwined. Secondly, it erroneously places the subconscious as the deepest level of mind, overlooking the fact it serves as an intermediary processor between the conscious awareness and a more fundamental field of consciousness. It's akin to fixing a computer's operating system, rather than delving into the source code that underpins it. Lastly, this approach tends to promote techniques that generate internal conflict rather than coherence. When attempting to reprogram the subconscious through conscious effort, it sets up a clash between the two levels of mind, engendering resistance instead of alignment. I see this in sessions all the time. Clients come to me having tried a variety of traditional CBT therapy. Some even saw relief with EMDR, and almost everyone I've consulted with has attempted a combination of affirmations, visualizations, and all the standard approaches for working with the conscious and subconscious mind. They understand the concepts intellectually, practiced the techniques diligently, but something deeper remained unchanged. Some even worked with hypnotists and saw a change that only lasted for maybe a year or two before reverting back to the original coding. That's because they're still missing something by trying to transform their experience, addressing only two of the three levels. Thankfully, quantum theory has provided psychology a more complete model that includes the quantum level of consciousness, underlying both the conscious and subconscious mind. When you learn to align and work from all three levels, rather than having them conflict, transformation becomes not just possible, but practically automatic and natural. The three minds model recognizes three distinct yet interconnected levels of consciousness, each operating according to their own principles and serving different functions in your reality experience. First, the conscious mind, operating from the beta frequency, your awareness in the present moment, the part of you that's listening to these words right now. It operates through focused attention, logical analysis, and deliberate choice. Processing about 40 bits of information per second, it's excellent at sequential thinking, but limited in its processing. It doesn't multitask, but if trained well, can perform rapid serial processing. Second, the subconscious mind, your automatic processing system, the part that handles habits, emotions, memories, and beliefs without conscious effort, operating through association, patterns, sensory perception, and emotional response. It processes about 40 million bits of information per second and runs 95% of your day-to-day functioning on autopilot. It's responsible for how efficiently your body functions, from movement to regulating all internal processes, including cell turnover, metabolism, immune response, and so much more. This is the part of your mind that can be addressed to create a great deal of change without the need for discipline and willpower, because once you have its programming, it performs automatically. Third, quantum consciousness. This is the field level of your awareness, the part that exists beyond space-time limitations and connects directly with the quantum field of reality. It operates through resonance, entanglement, and superposition rather than linear causality. It processes infinite information simultaneously and serves as the source code from which both your subconscious patterns and conscious experiences emerge. What makes this three-mind model revolutionary is the recognition that these aren't three separate systems. There are three levels of a single integrated consciousness, each influencing and being influenced by the others in a continuous feedback loop. For instance, your conscious thoughts influence your subconscious programming, which in turn alters your quantum field, which then collapses into the reality you consciously observe and interpret as your personal experience. This circular causality means that transformation can be initiated from any level, but lasting change requires coherence between all three. Most approaches to change focus exclusively on either conscious techniques or subconscious programming. But quantum psychology reveals the most powerful transformations happen when you create alignment between all three levels of mind. Let's explore each level of the three minds model in more detail, starting with the conscious mind, your awareness in the present moment. The conscious mind is like the captain of a ship. It can set direction, make decisions, and focus, but it doesn't actually control most of the ship's operations. Its primary functions are focused attention on specific content, logical analysis and reasoning, short-term and working memory, deliberate choice and decision-making, self-reflection, and metacognition, which is thinking about thinking or deciding what you choose to think about. The conscious mind's greatest strength is its ability to direct attention and make deliberate choices. Its greatest limitation is its processing capacity. It can only focus on a tiny fraction of available information at any given time. When I began my studies, I believed conscious effort was the primary driver of all change. If I just tried hard enough, focused enough, made better choices, I could transform my life through sheer willpower. Eventually, I realized that conscious effort alone is like trying to steer an ocean liner with a canoe paddle. It has some effect, but it's working against much more powerful forces beneath the surface. The key to working effectively with your conscious mind isn't trying harder or putting more effort. It's learning to direct its limited resources more strategically. Instead of using your conscious mind to fight against your subconscious patterns, use it to create clear intentions that can align your subconscious and conscious mind going forward. To become better attuned with your conscious mind, I recommend this small practice: setting 5 random alarms throughout the day, and when each one sounds, take 30 seconds to check. Where is my conscious attention right now? Is it aligned with my intentions? Or has it been hijacked by habitual patterns? This simple practice strengthens your conscious mind's ability to direct its own attention without depleting its limited energy through constant effort. The second level of the three minds model is the subconscious mind, your automatic processing system that handles most of your mental and physical functioning without conscious effort. The subconscious mind is like the crew of the ship. It handles all the moment-to-moment operations based on established protocols without needing the captain's direct supervision. Its primary functions are automatic processing of information, emotional responses and regulation, long-term memory storage and recall, the formation of your habits and their maintenance, belief systems and identity structures. The subconscious mind's greatest strength is its processing capacity. It can handle millions of bits of information simultaneously. Its greatest limitation is its tendency to get stuck in patterns that might no longer serve you. Most transformative approaches focus heavily on reprogramming the subconscious mind with techniques like affirmations, visualization, or hypnosis, recognizing that the subconscious is where most of your patterns are stored and executed. However, these techniques often create internal conflict rather than coherence. When you try to force new programming into your subconscious through repetition alone, you're essentially trying to overwrite existing patterns rather than transform them at their source. A more effective approach is what I call subconscious dialogue, a practice of communicating directly with your subconscious as a collaborative partner rather than a system to be overridden. This is my area of expertise as a hypnotherapist, and when combined with other therapeutic approaches, I've been blessed to maintain a reputation for getting results 100% of the time. The best way to prepare for a dialogue with your subconscious is to be in the most relaxed state as possible, and to start off by asking, what is your positive intention behind this pattern? Then listen to your subconscious for a response, not as words, but as feelings, images, or an intuitive knowing. This dialogue acknowledges that even problematic patterns usually begin as adaptive responses to past circumstance. Next, offer an alternative that honors the positive intention while creating a more effective response. You can say, I understand you're trying to protect me. Would you be willing to consider a new way to accomplish this intention more effectively? This collaborative approach creates coherence between conscious intention and subconscious programming, reducing the resistance that often blocks transformation. Although it can be a bit difficult to initiate on your own, with practice and really tuning into yourself, it's definitely possible. The third and most fundamental level of the three minds model is quantum consciousness, the field level of your awareness that connects directly with the quantum nature of reality itself. Quantum consciousness is the ocean in which the ship sails. It's not just another part of the vessel. It's the context in which the entire journey takes place. Its primary characteristics are non-local awareness beyond space-time, resonance with matching frequencies in the quantum field, superposition of many potential states simultaneously, entanglement with all aspects of experienced reality, and the collapse of possibility into specific experience through observation. Quantum consciousness isn't something you have, it's something you are at the most fundamental level. It's not separate from the quantum field of reality. It's actually your individual expression of that unified field. Working with quantum consciousness requires a fundamentally different approach than working with conscious or subconscious mind. Instead of effort or programming, it involves recognition, acknowledging the level of consciousness that exists, resonance, aligning your state with qualities you wish to experience, and receptivity, allowing rather than forcing transformation. The practice I recommend for accessing quantum consciousness is what I call field resonance meditation. For 10 to 15 minutes a day, sit in a meditative state and release identification with both conscious thoughts and subconscious patterns. Rest in the awareness that witnesses both without being either. Allow yourself to resonate with the qualities you wish to experience without trying to create or achieve them. Notice how these qualities are already present in your field when you stop identifying exclusively with your conscious and subconscious limitations. This practice doesn't replace working with the other levels of mind. It merely provides a starting point that makes those efforts more effective by aligning them with the quantum field from which they emerge. The most powerful transformation happens when all three levels of mind are working in coherence rather than conflict. This alignment creates what quantum physicists call constructive interference, where waves amplify each other rather than canceling each other out. Here's a 3-part protocol for creating this coherence. First, implement what I call intention setting from quantum consciousness. Instead of setting goals from your conscious mind alone, enter a meditative state where you can access quantum consciousness. From this expanded awareness, allow intentions to emerge that reflect your deepest purpose rather than conscious desires or subconscious programming. These quantum intentions will have a different quality than conventional goals. They'll feel both deeply personal and somehow larger than your individual self. They resonate with your core being rather than your conscious preference. Second, create a subconscious alignment with these intentions. Once you've identified a quantum intention, engage your subconscious as the collaborative partner. Visualize the intention as already realized, engaging as many senses as possible. Create physical anchors that remind your subconscious of this intention throughout the day. Develop rituals that embody the essence of your intention in symbolic form, and you can get really creative with this. Third, use your conscious mind for focused implementation rather than controlling the process. Instead of trying to force results through conscious effort, use your conscious mind to notice opportunities aligned with the quantum intentions. Make choices that support your intention when decision points arise. Observe and adjust your approach based on feedback from reality. This 3-part approach creates coherence between all levels of mind, where quantum consciousness provides the source and direction, the subconscious provides the automatic processing power, and the conscious mind directs, providing focused attention and decisions in the present moment. When I work with clients on creating this 3-mind coherence, I often use the phrase, slow is smooth and smooth is fast, to remind them that alignment is more powerful than effort. Taking the time to create coherence between all 3 levels of mind ultimately accelerates transformation far more than pushing forward with conscious effort alone. As you begin working with the 3 minds model, you'll likely encounter common obstacles. The first obstacle is conscious overthinking, the tendency to analyze, plan, and control rather than direct attention effectively. This creates mental noise that actually blocks access to deeper levels of thought. When you notice overthinking, you can use stop, drop, and roll to remind you to stop the stream of conscious thoughts by taking a nice deep breath. Drop your focus from head-centered awareness into body-centered presence, and then roll forward with whatever's happening without trying to control it. The second obstacle is subconscious resistance, the automatic pushback that occurs when new patterns threaten established programming. This often manifests as self-sabotage, forgetting, or sudden emotional reactions. When you notice this type of resistance, use what I call pattern interruption with appreciation. Acknowledge the resistance without judgment, directly addressing your subconscious, saying something to the effect of, "I've noticed there's resistance here." Appreciate its protective intention. "Thank you for trying to keep me safe." Introduce a pattern interrupt by changing your physiology, environment, or active focus. Restate your intention from a place of alignment rather than force. It's important to make sure that you honor your resistance rather than to treat it like an enemy. I can go more into this in later videos, but it's just much more efficient to become curious and concerned rather than create a new obstacle and form of resistance to the resistance that you're bumping into during your transformation. It's vital to remember these obstacles aren't signs of failure. They're natural aspects of how the three levels interact during transformation. Each obstacle, addressed appropriately, becomes an opportunity to create greater coherence between all levels of your consciousness. Before we conclude, I want to share the insight that completely transformed my understanding of consciousness. An insight that makes the three minds model not just a theoretical framework, but a doorway to a fundamentally different experience of reality. The most liberating truth is that the three minds are not compartments. They're not separate systems. There are three perspectives on a single unified field of consciousness. We've been taught to think our mind is something we have, a tool, or a mechanism that exists within us, but remains separate from the reality it perceives. Quantum psychology reveals that mind isn't something you have. It's what you are at the most fundamental level. Your conscious mind, subconscious mind, and quantum consciousness are not separate. They have no need to compete for control of your experience. As three aspects of a single unified field, only operating at different levels of expression. Once I grasped this, it changed how I looked at everything. I stopped trying to use one level of mind to control or override the others, and started focusing on creating alignment between all three aspects of my unified consciousness. I stopped asking, "How can I make this happen?" and started asking, "How can I get in alignment with all three levels of my consciousness, with what's trying to emerge?" The three minds model isn't about adding another level to your understanding of psychology. It's about recognizing the quantum nature of consciousness itself. It's about moving from a fragmented experience of mind to a unified field perspective where transformation happens through alignment rather than efforts, and you have access to a whole new universe of resources. If you've been struggling with personal transformation, despite your best efforts with conscious and subconscious techniques, I invite you to experiment with this three-mind approach. Start with the field resonance meditation, just 10 minutes daily, and notice how it changes your relationship with both your conscious thoughts and your subconscious patterns. Share your experiences in the comments below. Which level of mind do you tend to focus on in your personal development work? What shifts in your life as you begin working with all three in coherence? Until next time, remember, your mind isn't just conscious and subconscious. It's quantum. And when you align all three levels of your mind, you access possibilities that remain invisible within the traditional two-mind model. Your transformation isn't about forcing or making change. It's about creating coherence in the unified field of your consciousness and further expanding.